diversity, equality, inclusion are literally, and that's not kidding, the core strengths of America. That's why I'm proud to have the most diverse administration in history. It taps into the full talents of our country and starts at the top with the Vice President.
So it seems like the big topic of the week is Trump calling into question Kamala Harris's race. The fact that Kamala Harris has been lying about who she is, where she's from, where she grew up, all of that, in order to get black votes, in order to get that clout. Because Democrats like to play the game of identity politics. And they're upset now because the Republicans are now saying, okay, you want to play identity politics, instead of crying about it like we used to, we're going to play it with you. We're going to call into question who the heck Kamala Harris is. Is she some fraud? Is she really a black lady because she went to an HBCU, because she was part of some elitist sorority? Or is she a stone cold lying ass sack of shit? So it seems like I just can't stay away from this topic because the Democrats want to run the race off of identity politics. They are afraid of putting Kamala Harris in a sit-down interview where you talk about policy, sound policy, because she's a full-blown left-wing nutcase. And the American people will be turned off once she starts spewing her nonsense about Medicare for all, canceling all private health insurance, not knowing anything at all about foreign policy. Did you hear her talking about Ukraine and Russia? It was completely pathetic. But Stephen A. Smith and this left-wing activist, these are two guys who pretend that they're independent journalists, pretend that they're independent thinkers. Chris Cuomo, Stephen A. Smith, they're both Democrats, but they want to give their audience the perception that they're objective. But once you listen to them enough, it's obvious. I haven't listened to this, so let's take a listen to what these guys have to say about this conversation.
Make your witness.
I wasn't surprised. It was disappointing, but nevertheless, far from surprised and very, very predictable. Anytime former President Trump gets a tough question, it's nasty. What I caution the black community to take heed to is when we sit up there and we utilize that as a...
Wait a minute, I got to pause it already. He said Trump was nasty because he got a tough question. Well, we all saw the interview. That was a series of accusations. Oh, you're racist, you hang out with white supremacists, you're a horrible person, you're evil. And they're expecting Trump to be kind to that, to answer all soft to that. That's what I was talking about over the last couple of weeks with this whole unity nonsense. They talk all this ish. Oh, Trump, you're a white supremacist. Oh, you're a hateful man. Oh, you Hitler. But let's preach unity. Let's be nice. Let's be nice. While we try to destroy you, just turn the other cheek. When we try to send you to jail in Georgia with a RICO case, when we try to bankrupt you in New York, just be nice. When we send some nut job to try to assassinate you, Trump, why are you being hostile and nasty? Just turn the other cheek. These people are ridiculous, man.
Form to bring up his racist tendencies or what have you. You got to be careful about that because he did the same thing to Caitlin Collins, who doesn't happen to be black, from CNN. He called her nasty. He said her questions were nasty when she challenged him. He's done that on many, many occasions. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, or Asian American or whomever. If he's averse to the kind of questions that you're asking him and he feels a bit too challenged and not received in a proper manner, as you articulated earlier, he's going to accuse you of being rude. He's going to accuse you of being nasty and what have you. And
well, she was rude and nasty.
Only reason I bring up that point about us as black Americans being careful about stuff like that is because the minute we go out there and say, look at how he spoke to the black journalist, you're going to have supporters showing up and showing how he spoke to a white male, mm-hmm. a white female, an Asian American, sure. a Latino or 100%. A Latina, et cetera, to point out those things. And then that dilutes the case against him in that regard. Let's just call it what it is. It's immature. It's unpresidential. It's divisive. It's the kind of thing, it's the kind of reasons a lot of us don't want him to be the next president.
Boom. He just confessed because Stephen A. Smith, he's been going around for months trying to convince people that he's considering Trump, that he might vote Trump, and he's a complete independent thinker. He's not locked and sold to the Democrat Party, but look at him. He's confessing it. So what Stephen A. Smith is actually trying to do is he's trying to tell the Democrats, watch how you approach Trump because you're only helping him win. When you start making dumbass accusations like the bloodbath thing, I think Stephen A. Smith talked about that too. When you say dumb stuff that the Republicans can easily combat it helps Trump's case. So Stephen A. Smith, he is not an independent thinker. He's just trying to say, look, let's be more reasonable in how we try to demonize and attack Trump.
The United States, because we know we're in desperate need of this country galvanizing and coming together, and he doesn't seem to be a galvanizing force.
So, Stephen A., what is the play in your mind to question whether or not Harris is black? Does he think he was going to separate her from the black community and give himself a fair chance? Is he really just dog whistling or signaling to his MAGA folk that this biracial thing, it's just more of this crazy lefty stuff where now people are two things? What was his play?
Okay, before Stephen A. Smith answers that, so Stephen A. Smith's talking about galvanizing the country. Are you going to galvanize behind Kamala Harris, who wasn't even elected? Where's the smoke? He has all this smoke for Trump. What do you have to say about the DNC installing a candidate and telling all the Democrat voters, damn you, we don't give a damn. You're going to vote for who we tell. Where's the smoke for that? Completely undemocratic, full-blown communist type behavior. But I guess he's a communist too, so of course he's in lockstep with that.
I think it was the latter. I think it was dog whistling. Make no mistake about it, because he wants to cater to his base. He knows they're not going anywhere, but he wants to show them that he's still that guy they voted for in 2016 and they voted for in 2020 that was in the lead in 6 of the 7 polls before Biden decided to step aside. He wants to make sure that he's showing them in the presence of others he's not going to deviate from who they know him to be. He's going to be somebody that can be insulting, petulant, immature, and with a penchant, if not a proclivity, flat out proclivity of getting in his own way. And this is one of those situations. You go to the National Association for Black Journalism Conference, which is where I'll be tomorrow, and my show First Take on ESPN will be there Friday morning. You go to a place like that, you know what kind of audience you're expecting to run into. It was no surprise to him, but it was an opportunity because they couldn't work out a time for Vice President Kamala Harris to show up.
Nah, they couldn't work it out. No, she didn't want to show up. She went to hang out with some sorority girls. She's going around getting money, but she doesn't give a flying fuck about showing up to a bunch of propagandists who call themselves black journalists, a bunch of left-wing activists. Yeah, this is ridiculous, man.
So he had it to himself. And I thought he was being a bit slick by showing up today at 12 noon Central Time anyway, because as a black journalist, as somebody that has gone to the NABJ on many, many occasions, let me assure you, most people ain't showing up by 12 noon on a Wednesday. You want a packed house where everybody is there waiting for you. You usually show up on a Thursday or beyond. To show up on a 12 noon on a Wednesday afternoon, it was like he was hoping to slide in and slide out without running into too many folks. What? And so I thought it was very, very slick.
It's slick. This doesn't even make sense. Who cares how many people are in the audience? It's all over the internet. What the hell are you talking about, Stephen A? It seems like this guy is just reaching for something because his journalist, his propagandist, Rachel Scott, this hostile-ass interviewer, she got exposed as nothing but a propagandist, as nothing but an activist. Because she started off the interview being late, first of all, having the man sitting around waiting on her. Then on top of that, she started off by hurling a series of insults at the man. But here's Stephen A. He's reaching. He's trying to say Trump was the one being immature, being unpresidential. Trump was the one being nasty. But yeah, like I said in the other video, she had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
On his part, but Rachel Scott, who is a sensational reporter for ABC, does a magnificent job. I thought she set the tone right because she didn't speak about herself. It wasn't personal or anything like that. She said, hey, a lot of people weren't comfortable with you coming here. That was true. A lot of people were not comfortable with him coming in. And then she brought up a litany of things he uttered out of his mouth, and evidently quoting him accurately is...
Oh, actually, she came with a bunch of left-wing talking points, and this exposes more about these black voters. It shows you how they think. They didn't even want Trump there. A lot of them didn't want Trump there because they're so brainwashed. They're walking around crying, Project 2025. Their votes were stolen by Barack Obama and the Democrat Party. They ain't got nothing to say about that. But they are so brainwashed, so filled with Trump-Deranged syndrome that they didn't even want to hear from the man. And they're going to vote for whatever the Communist Party tells them to vote for.
Something he deems rude and insulting. But again, it should not be a surprise. We should have seen that coming. I don't know anybody who's surprised. I sincerely hope your audience is not.
Here's why, just one of the reasons that you love me as a friend, but you know I'm a dope, is I thought after the assassination attempt, he was going to pivot and he was going to use it as an opportunity. I've never seen anybody blow an opportunity the way he did at the RNC, other than those first 20 minutes. But he talked so long and so ugly afterwards that I forgot what he said in the first.
Here it is, right here. We tried to assassinate you, but you survived. Unfortunately, you survived. This is what the Democrats are saying. But you're a 78-year-old man. We wanted you to turn into a completely different person. We wanted you to be a soft and weak Republican. We've had all types of soft and weak, pudgy Republicans, Mitt Romney, John McCain, and we've ran over them. We treated them like dogs and completely destroyed them. You're fighting back. You're using our talking points against us, and you're actually about to win this election. Why can't you be nice? While we're trying to destroy you, while we're talking all types of crap, calling you nasty, calling you Hitler, why can't you just sit there and take it? Why are you coming back at us?
20. This one was another opportunity. Times are tough in big cities. Times are tough in all kinds of minority pockets. They can't be happy with the leadership that they've had. There is an opportunity. Do you believe he just blew it and this is a major moment?
I think it's a major moment. I think he blew it with a lot of blacks, but there are some people that are Trump supporters who happen to be black, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, that's the end of that. Two Democrats, two propagandists, but will sit here and tell you to your face they're independent, they're not Democrats, and they're open-minded, but they're not. See, somebody like me, I clearly let my bias be exposed. I don't go around telling people that, nah, I might vote for the Democrat. Who knows? That's what Stephen A. Smith, he will say that he might vote Republican, but he won't. He's a full-blown left-wing nut job. Trump-Deranged syndrome. And Chris Cuomo, so much to say about him. That's a completely different video. But yes, Stephen A. Smith is kissing his interviewer's ass, thinking that they did a good job. So deranged that he can't see the forest for the trees, that he can't make a clear analysis of what's going on here. But let me know what you guys think. Leave me your thoughts below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.